For most of my life, if you would have asked me, do I love myself? I would have said yes. On the exterior, I was always confident. I always had and maintained friendships very easily. And I was always very ambitious. So from the outside and from what I thought, I deeply loved myself. But what I didn't know and what I didn't yet understand was that the love that I had for myself was extremely conditional. It was based on how others were treating me, what I was achieving, and what I looked like. Everything that made me feel good and confident and like I loved myself was externally focused. And so this video is how self-love saved and changed the trajectory of my life. My self-love journey started around 6 years ago. And at that time, I was working a regular corporate job and I was paying bills and I was applying to schools to get my master's degree. And I was checking all of these boxes, thinking that those things outside of myself would make me feel like enough. And really, at its core, I was very disconnected from myself and what I wanted and what I truly, truly desired. I didn't know what my values were, and I just was doing the responsible, good thing. And it wasn't until I experienced a breakup that it completely derailed me. And while the breakup didn't necessarily break me, it broke through what I thought or how I thought I felt about myself. It really highlighted for me the conditions that I placed upon myself. Because when you place your sense of self outside of yourself and that thing changes, you fall to the floor instead of having yourself be at the center or something greater than you be at the center. And so what I had mistaken as self-love was achievement, was external validation, was what I looked like, was the state of my relationships. It was everything was on the external, how things looked and how things appeared and what I achieved made me feel like enough instead of who I was all by myself. So the turning point for me was feeling so lost and so just engulfed in sorrow and despair about the breakup that led me to seek support. And so I started therapy and I also read a book called You Can Heal Your Life. And it was with those two things that I started to uncover just how conditional the love that I had for myself was. And it was in seeking support that I learned and I created a foundation of self-love. Now, what does that even look like? It looks like I learned how to advocate for myself and for my needs. I stopped people pleasing and abandoning myself in order to be loved by another person. I moved to California across the country by myself. I let go of jobs and environments and people that were bringing me down. And I started to create a life that was aligned instead of impressive. And so self-love taught me and gave me tools to actually live a life that I enjoy. It helped me let go of the pattern and the story that I wasn't enough, or because this happened to me when I was this age, I would have to live and be like this. Self-love taught me, oh, I can choose something else right now. I have the power, I have the authorship, and I have the agency to choose a life I fundamentally enjoy. And when I don't enjoy it, or when something happens to me, I trust myself enough to change it. I don't wait for something outside of myself to change how I feel or what I want. I go and I create it. And even when I'm scared, even when I'm overwhelmed, even when I doubt myself, I still do it anyways, because I know at my core I deserve a life I love. And you do too. And with said self-love, I got certified as a Heal Your Life coach based on the philosophy of that first book I picked up in 2020. I created this YouTube channel. I host monthly self-love circles. I am in a great, healthy relationship where I feel at peace and I'm not constantly vigilant about what he's doing or where he is. And I say that all to say, I've come such a far way from where I was and who I was. And I feel so passionate about this because self-love is at the core of everything you do, everything you think, every decision that you make is with that in mind. If you fundamentally, fully, truly loved and knew that you were deserving of something, what would you change? What would you stop settling for? Where would you go? Who would you stop hanging out with? How would you dress differently? What would your hair look like? This is all like how like pervasive, I want to say the word is, that self-love is. Once you love yourself, you become, I would dare I say, radical in what you accept, what you do, and the life that you live, and who you surround yourself with. And so if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm in the trenches, I'm in the depths of despair, know that I have been there. And really, a breakup or something very devastating is also a portal to change. Sometimes we do not know how deep the cracks are until we fall, but that's also where light gets to enter, is in those cracks. And so I say that all to say, you are not alone in your struggle, but you can get out of it with self-love, with intention, and I am sending you so much love. If this video resonated with you, I'd love for you to like or comment what self-love looks like for you now, and I'll be back with more videos on how to love yourself more deeply so that you can experience more joy, which I think is the crux of it all. Bye.